Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah Jane from Misunderstood. Now, as April is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, I thought I would make a video going right back to one of the first times autism was mentioned. And it will also help you understand why there is such an awful stigma and shame attached to autism. Now, autism is a behaviour profile. It's a difficulty with social communication, social interaction, restricted repetitive behaviours and sensory difficulties. Now, one of the first times autism was mentioned was in 1908. Now, that was 113 years ago, and psychologists are still trying to work it out. Now, no one knows exactly what lies at the root of autism, but that hasn't stopped people from forming their own theories. In 1908, a physician called Eugene Bleuler used the terminology autistic to describe the symptoms of schizophrenia. He also described the schizophrenic patients with autistic symptoms as having a withdrawal from reality. Then in 1927, a student of Bleuler's further defined autism as a symptom of schizophrenia. He described patients with this disorder as having a lack of connectedness with people, in turn creating a disturbance in the structure of the self. Now, in 1943, American child psychiatrist Lee O'Connor worked on a study of 11 children. Now, these children had difficulties in social interactions, difficulty in adapting to changes in routines, poor language ability, sensitivity to sound, touch, echolalia, which is repeating what someone says, certain resistance to food, and difficulties in spontaneous activity. But they had great memories and a normal average intelligence level. Now, in the following year, another psychiatrist, Hans Asperger, was studying a group of children. The children he studied had many similarities to Connor's study, but Asperger's patients had good language ability and above average intelligence. A few years later, another psychiatrist, Bruno Bettelheim, studied 3 children who he called autistic, but he claimed that the problem in the children was due to the coldness of their mothers, and Connor agreed. Connor then joined forces with Bettelheim, and this theory went on for almost 20 years. Thousands of children were taken from their parents and placed in institutions because they said they weren't getting any love and attention at home. And that's why we have the stigma about autism, because so many people who were autistic were placed in institutions. There are people fighting today to get relatives out of institutions because we still have them. They're just legal institutions that make thousands of pounds of profit off the back of what society is calling an autism pandemic. Now, Connors and Bettelheim met a psychologist called Bernard Rimland, who was a parent of a child with autism. Now, he disagreed. He knew his wife and him were loving and caring parents and did not cause his son's autism. And Rimland set out to prove this. Now, Rimland made a documentary sometime in the late 60s. He was interviewing the parents of some of the children. Now, I'll put the link to the documentary below, because it's really interesting. Now, eventually in 1969, Connor gave a speech to the National Society for Autistic Children, where he stated that they were wrong about the theory on refrigerated mothers and insisted that the condition of autism was present in an individual from birth. So since the 70s, there has been so much research into autism, which is why the diagnostic rates has gone up. They have found it's a broad range of uneven difficulties. The problem is that it takes years to get any research information acknowledged and then passed down to the specialists so they can learn it and pass it on. There are studies going back over 100 years. Autism is real. It's nothing to do with your level of intelligence. It's just a different way of thinking. We need to get rid of the stigma around autism and accept it. Thank you for listening, and I hope that has all made some sense to you. If you want to see more videos, then subscribe to my channel. If you click the bell, then you'll be notified of any new videos. Thank you. Bye.